All right, welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Watchlist. I'm your host, Kevin Howell, the One Eye Scout, and today we got a young man that we saw on the road at Houston Tilston Camp. He comes by the way of Killeen, Texas, from Ellison High School, Southern Ties. Chandler Miles joins us today. Let's lock in. Hey, Chandler, just right off the bat, man. Let's start off simple.
Mhm.
How are you feeling heading into this next live period?
To be honest, I'm just really excited. I've been putting in all this work throughout the summer, and I'm just excited to show coaches what I can do and just perform really and play against good
hmm
competition.
what's something people get wrong about your game when they first see you?
I feel like they may think I'm just like another one of those hustle players or like a back to basket big, but I
hmm
want to show everybody that I can make a move off the dribble. I can face up, and I can do more things to impact the game than just rebound.
Yeah, man. The first thing I realized when I saw you was that it's not bad to be a hustle guy.
Mhm.
Because you run rim to rim, you block shots, you rebound, and the offensive side is just a plus.
Right.
Because in today's game, if you can get 10 and 10, you'll get paid for it.
Hmm.
So keep doing that.
Yes, sir.
Uh, but for folks outside of Central Texas, how would you describe the basketball culture around Killeen?
I would probably say like it's just really tough and gritty because it's a small town, so like everybody trying to get their name out there, make it out,
hmm
trying to get bigger, and I would just say like everybody just plays hard because everybody's trying to get somewhere, and living in a
Yeah,
small town like Killeen, it's like a lot harder.
yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, it's. I will say this. I've known about Killeen for a long time in basketball. I'm not originally from Texas.
Right.
I came through here military and just stayed. But Killeen's tough, man. You got Ellison, you got shoot the shoe, you got Harker Heights,
Right. Yeah.
Chaparral. I mean, and all of you guys have legitimate players, legitimate athletes. Um, so what's it like during pickup games? I'm sure they get pretty intense.
Oh yeah. It's like pickup games. You would think like it's just like regular games, like everybody just
hmm
comes. But like nah, it's like everybody's going 110%. You'll think like people like trying to play to like win a championship during our open gym runs and pickup games.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be, man. For iron to
Yeah.
sharpen iron, and for
Mhm.
Killeen to produce as much talent as it does.
Yeah.
Um, that's a pretty big deal. Let's get into your game a little bit. Um, you're one of the most active rebounders I've seen this summer, and you fly down the floor. Where does that come from? Is that something that you take pride in, or what's the thing you take pride in the most?
Something I take pride in the most, I'll probably say just playing hard, like rebounding, blocking shots, being where I need to be, like at all times. And I would say like I feel like I've always been like that, but I know my high school coach, Coach Jones, he really emphasizes like you got to play hard to get to where you want, and that's just the first step. So I've always listened to that, and I feel like that's what's
Mhm.
really helped me a lot.
So, like, is that some? I know you look up to Coach Jones. I mean, we all look up to our coaches in some way, shape, or form. But is that kind of your motivator? Is that um, the person that you play for? Or when you think about that, like, who are you playing for?
To be honest, I would probably say besides like myself, I would probably say my family, my mom, my dad,
hmm
my godmom, everybody, because they poured in so much into me, and I just want to show them that like I'm grateful and that I'm really doing all this for them, but also
You know,
myself
it's
as well.
and it's funny. Sometimes we step back and realize that. getting to college and playing college sports,
Hmm.
while that seems all about you and what you do in the gym, what you do in the classroom, a lot of times, with exceptions, it's a family, it's a it's a family trip down that journey. Um, Anything stood out this summer that you remember?
Um.
All right, so we'll take it a different route.
Okay.
What's been a city or a team that you played against so far that, like, man, I just got to get back at that.
I would probably say, um, probably that first session, that first Puma session in LA. It was
Mm,
when we played high major. We played pretty well, but I feel like there was just some things we could have did better, and think that like woke me up. It was like, okay, we like I need to pick it up some more.
yeah, man, I'll never forget, man. I'll tell you the day it happened. We was I grew up in Baton Rouge, and we drove down and played New Orleans. And a kid, I grabbed a rebound in front of him,
Uh,
and man, that joker looked at me with gold teeth and said, "Do that shit again, I'll kill your mom." Man, I was probably 13 years old. And I was like, "Hell no, man!" And that was whenever everything turned physical for me,
right.
because I realized at that point he wasn't gonna do anything like that. He's just trying to talk mess. But it shook me up a little bit, man. That because New Orleans is a crazy place.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, what's something you really focused on improving going into your senior year?
I'll most likely say uh making like decision making, finishing through contact better, and also I want to be able to expand my game to shooting like more outside because I think my mid range is pretty good right now. But I've been working on expanding outside of the 3 point line, so I can be more of a threat instead of people just seeing me like inside.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
don't fall in love with it out there, man, because you do have a solid mid-range
Yes,
game,
sir.
and that's part of the package that kind of drew me in, uh, because you do have that versatility, that athleticism, and I could see why that's a point that you want to get expanded on.
Yes, sir.
Um, so saying that you're wanting to move more to the outside and expand your game, like who are some people that you try to model your game after, or look at and say, man, I can do that, and they can be past or present. You know.
Growing up, I really always liked watching like Anthony Davis, for example, because I know he can play inside and out. Also, Chris Bosh and
Mm,
Blake Griffin. I always liked Blake Griffin because he was so athletic. But even when he was with like the Detroit Pistons, he started expanding his game outside more, like shooting threes more and
mm.
playmaking more. And I was like that really like I really like that.
Yeah, I could see the Chris Bosh,
Hmm.
but just, and I've seen you a couple of years that afternoon, but it was more remind me of like a Kevin Garnett.
I can see that.
Uh, yeah,
Hmm.
but no, I mean you pulled out Chris Bosh and Blake Griffin. I get that. I get that. Um, so heading um, into the next segment, we're talking about Killeen.
Okay.
And Killeen, we talked about how they breed tough players, and when you step into the Pro16 circuit, you know that Killeen toughness has to travel.
Yeah,
So
sir.
let's talk about that journey. How has Ellison helped shape your approach to the game?
I would probably say like most definitely the toughness part, and really just like don't let anybody off the hook.
Hmm.
Because even like during this past high school season, like it was mandatory that we always go 100%, and just make sure you make every play count.
Do you think that like you think that's more of the coaches holding to their standard, or has it evolved into a player-led team where players are holding each other accountable?
Uh, I would probably say I could say it was like 50-50 because
Mhm.
our coach, he would obviously tell us, he would like make it mandatory for us, but at the same time, me and my teammates, we would also make sure we're holding each other accountable as well. Make sure everybody
Mhm.
not leaving anybody behind. Make sure everybody's going 100%.
What's been the biggest learning moment from playing with Southern Ties on the circuit?
I'll most likely say that every game's gonna be competitive. Like especially on the Pro 16 circuit, like you're not gonna be able to find a team where you can just breeze past. It's like it's all gas, no brakes. Uh,
Mhm.
it's like you got to come and bring your A game every single game.
Yeah, and the Pro 16, I do like it.
Hmm.
I everybody has their own preferences and rank. The rank is different circuits, but I've seen that the Pro 16 has been a great matchup every time I've seen them. I
Hmm.
like going to the circuit down in Dallas where everybody plays everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember the first round at the circuit seemed like uh, the Puma circuit was out ahead of most people.
Hmm.
So that's a good thing. What are you going to take from this summer that's going to help your leadership skills for your senior year?
Uh, I would probably say like just holding holding everybody accountable.
Mm,
Because I know last year it was my first year at Ellison, so I was kind of the newbie, but I was still trying to hold others accountable and stuff like
mhm,
that. But I think this year I'm going to have a way bigger role as far as a leader.
mhm.
Um, so really, I just want to be able to have the mindset to know that like some of these guys are looking up to me, so I have to set the best example possible and just show them how we need to be.
Just to give people a point of reference of the size and athleticism, just in a camp that wasn't even really near Killeen, there was you, there was another 6'9",
And
another
so,
6'9", and I know one was a Chaparral, I think one was a Harker Heights, and
mm,
man, so you don't really get a night off once district hits for you during the school year, and
no, uh,
and I could see how that translates in the
mm,
in the in the, in the summer. What's now we're just gonna go on personal matchups.
okay.
But what was one matchup, either team or personal matchup that really pushed you?
Um, I would probably say you're talking about over the summer, correct?
Yeah.
Uh, I'll probably say when we played Team Sip and I had to guard Sam Funches
Hmm.
because I know when I got in the game, my coach he just told me like just lock him down, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was like I just listened to him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do I remember whenever whenever I played and went to a nationals in North Carolina, and in one tournament off one team,
Hmm.
there might be some old heads you may not remember, but there was a Jeff McGinnis, Rasheed Wallace, and Stackhouse
Uh-huh.
were all on the same team. And then you watch 4 or 5 years later, and they're all in the league. That was a humbling weekend.
Yeah.
Um, but so live period, you know, live period's coming up. It's a window to show college coaches who you are, not as a player, but as a competitor. So, what do you want coaches to walk away saying after watching you play?
I just really want him to say like, "Oh, that kid he has a motor. He's relentless. He doesn't give up anything, and
Mhm.
overall, he can just play."
So, let me ask you this, man. You mentioned relentless. several times, which I like.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, is that a family thing? Is that a basketball thing, or how would you say that came about?
I think I think it's a family thing, to be honest,
Mm,
because I know a lot of my family. We basketball is like in our blood. Like we all grew up. My brothers, my sister, we all really just grew up playing basketball, and it was like it was always we are always on go go go. Um, and I think it really is a family thing.
all right. I just want to remind people right now that we're talking to Chandler Miles from Killeen High School. You got the information scrolling at the bottom. But so taking that, what you want them to see when you walk away from the court, how do you mentally prepare for big games with scouts in the building? Is it like nerves? Is it just extreme focus? Is it music?
One thing I like to listen to music like way before games, even leading up like 10, 15, 20 minutes before games, just to get my mind right. Um, Most likely, it's like obviously it's going to be a little bit of nerves, so that's why I'm always
Hmm.
listening to music to calm myself down. And when I get out there, just go out there and perform.
I always believe nerves is a good thing.
Mm.
Uh, Not an extreme case, but so since we did talk about music, what's your two songs before you when you're winding down for the game?
Uh, I don't think I have. I don't think I have two like specific songs, but I can tell you like the artists I like to listen
All
to
right.
before. I'll probably say my favorite artist Drake,
Hmm.
and who else do I listen to? I'll probably say Drake and Lil Baby, most definitely.
All right.
Mm,
Uh, I listened to some Drake, but I
mhm.
can tell you that Lil Baby is not on my playlist. But all right, so if a college coach called me right now and asked why they should recruit Chandler Miles, what should I tell him?
I think you should tell him that he's a great player, great person. Um, he's always going 110%, getting mostly every board,
Mm.
and just plays like there's no tomorrow.
So so let's talk about getting every board.
Mhm.
All right. I'm just gonna ask you, like, do you keep a tally in your head during the game or
I mean, not really. I don't. I don't really like keep up with my stats during the game. I like to.
yeah.
I'm really just focusing on the next play, the next play, next play. To be honest, yeah.
I remember I broke a record in high school back at my school for rebounds.
Okay.
And I remember the closer it got to that mark, uh, I kept counting more and more, and it seemed like it was never going to happen. And got caught up in a game
Hmm.
where it didn't matter, and all of a sudden it happens. Um, but no, that's good, man. That's good. And I just want to shout out TAAN-TV. They're giving us a platform where grassroots basketball stories can be told the right way. So keep tuning in and tapping in. All right, man. We're talking about the NBA right now.
Okay.
Favorite NBA team or college player right now?
Uh Favorite college player probably Derek Queen.
All right. Why?
I really like the way he plays. He shows that like even like the bigger, taller guys, that he can.
Mm,
I know he can bang inside, but at the same time, like he can make a move off the dribble, shoot. He can do. I think he can do everything a guard does. So
mm.
I really like how he's like putting it out there that like bigger guys shouldn't be just stuck in one position.
Yeah. Since we're talking about what, so you think SGA is the best player in the league, MVP
Uh,
wise?
I think I'd rather say Jokic is.
Mm. Yeah. That damn SGA can just freaking score, dude. I do like the fact that Jokic passes.
Mhm.
You know, amongst all the many other things that he does so well. Um, that's one thing that I really like. All right, man. 1 to 2 words that describes your playing style.
Uh, Probably say tough and I'll probably just hard working.
Hmm. So you find a way to put 3 words in there, so you got 1 or 2. um, all right. So next one.
Mhm.
Uh, the favorite gym you've ever played in.
The most definitely a Rock Hill Sports Center.
Hmm.
I played there last year.
All right.
Hmm.
I've yet to make that trip
Oh
up
yeah.
to Rock Hill, but the wife and I were talking about possibly next summer, if not later this summer. All right, man. Best advice you ever received from a coach or a trainer?
Mm, I'm gonna go ahead and say basketball is like basketball. You should have a short term memory. If you say you go down the court, you miss a layup, shot, or miss a rebound or block. You gotta have short term memory loss and just forget it. Think next play. Because if you just let that hang over your head, um, it's going to be visibly. You can visibly see it from the coaches can see it, and other people are going to see it and be like, "Oh, nah, he's out the game." It's obviously going to
Mhm.
deter you as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I
Mhm.
would agree. Hey, Chandler, thanks for being on, man.
Thank
And
you.
that's a wrap
All right.
on this episode featuring Chandler Miles. A name coaches should already know. If they're not, and they don't know, they're not doing the job well. Ellison, Southern ties, rebounder, hustler, culture guy. He checks all the boxes. And this is Kevin Howell, the One Eye Scout, powered by TAN-TV. Until next time, keep your eyes open.